Hello. So I'm learning how to use this thing. There we go. So happy Advent. I need to sit up straight, but I am actually sitting up straight. I don't know why it doesn't show it that way, but anyway, happy Advent. I hope all of you guys out there had as wonderful of a Thanksgiving as I did. Um, let's see. It's been a while since I've been on here on my YouTube, and I know because of that, the algorithm is going to just basically never tell anybody that I'm back on. And so, if you don't mind letting people both Adventists tend to be my largest audience, but not just Adventists, but I've got Catholics. So please let them know. And it always helps. I'm going to get this over with the beginning. If you smash the like button, you've heard a billion times. If you're at all, I don't know, can you not hear me? Wow, my little, hold on. Can you, wait a minute. Can you not hear me? My little could you type me something in here if you can't hear me, because this is showing that there's no sound, which is very odd because I just tested it a few seconds ago and it worked. So maybe I just need to speak up a little bit. But anyway, so well, I'll try. Okay, so um besides just telling you happy Thanksgiving, happy Advent, and then tomorrow I'm having an early happy Our Lady of Guadalupe for you guys out there who are Catholic, and I am going to have a little party for my family and my grandchildren, and we are going to have the best time ever. I got a pinata. If you guys have never played, hit the pinata. It's just awfully fun. So I'm looking forward to that. So the reason that I have been gone for so long, for a full month and slightly over a month, a couple days over a month, is because I have been on a trip to see all my, excuse me, I got something in my eye. Oh dear. Always goes, everything falls apart when you get on live. Okay. So my husband and I went to visit all of my siblings in Texas and Alabama and Virginia. And part-time I've got a part-time relatives who are not a part-time relative, but I've got a relative who lives in Colorado part-time, but he happened to be in an area that I could see him. So I'm super excited about that. Okay, so to get into it, I am going to take the first time back to be super probably controversial to most of my family. And it's not meant to be controversial because I like peace. I want to be the peacemaker. I want to explain things so people can understand. And there really is a lot of misunderstandings between Catholics and Protestants that is not necessary. And I'm talking about, okay, there are things obviously that we disagree with, but there are things that we really shouldn't. And once you understand how we think about it, there should be a no misunderstanding. So that's kind of what I'm going to get into, or all the other apologists. But it's just the way I look at it. And one other thing, as anybody that's watched me knows, when I go live, my internet goes out. And I don't know why that happens. But stay tuned. If it goes out, I will get back on. So, but first, before I get into any of that, I would like to talk about Charlie Kirk. All right. So again, I only like to talk about things if I think I have something interesting to say that has not already been said a million times. And so, but my context is I didn't know anything. I didn't even know that there was anything called Turning Point USA before his assassination. I hardly saw, you know how you get in your feed, you get, these little short clips, and I've seen had seen several short clips of Charlie Kirk talking to university university students, and that's all I'd ever seen of him. And I didn't ever hardly watch those. I mean, these are pretty short clips. And I thought he did it, and I thought he was a nice guy. I thought it was really nice for him to go out there. And, I thought he was of interest. I wasn't super impressed, but hey, at least he was having the courage to do it. So I didn't really watch Candace Owens. I'd heard of her, and I heard about all the stuff she had said about Bridget Macron. And so all this was fairly new to me. My parents used to love Tucker Carlson, and so I've heard about him. I've heard about him, and I've seen him a few times when he was on Fox News, because my parents would always turn him on. Oh, you've got us here, Tucker Carlson. Oh, he's wonderful. So I've listened to him before, but that was years ago. And I don't know anything about his drama of being leaving or being fired or whatever it is. I hadn't spent any time thinking about Megyn Kelly. I'd never even heard about Nick Fuentes or Ian Carroll. So this is very much, I'm getting a phone call from somebody I never get a phone call from. So that is going to distract me, because I wonder what happened. Anyway, so that's my context of having seen this. And hearing about assassination. Of course, I started praying the minute I heard he was assassinated. I mean, that he was shot, and I was hoping that he would be okay. And there was even a couple seconds there that we thought maybe he'd make it through. But of course, he's a Christian and fellow lover of our Lord. So of course, I was very concerned about him. And one side note, which I thought was interesting, in my trilogy that I wrote, hint, hint, on Amazon, I have a trilogy. And in the trilogy, Ken Kirk, a Reformed Baptist, is my hero, my protagonist. And I specifically chose the name Kirk as his last name because Kirk means church. So Charlie Kirk. Okay, so if Arthur, if you're watching this, Trampa says to call you. So anyway, had to take care of that. All right. So, and so I wrote my trilogy has a lot is centered around Charlie Ken Kirk, and I chose that name very much on purpose. And don't worry, there's no relation, no actual ties to Charlie. Okay, but now jumping to the actual topic. Okay, I understand pretty much. I have tried very hard to understand all sides. I kind of have an overview of people like who is seeing it for the first time, and so my view is based on that. I didn't have I have nothing in it to be anything but just objective. None of this was known to me before it happened, hardly any of it anyway. So what I would like to say is we've got to keep in mind when we talk about Charlie and everything that's going on with Candace and Tucker and Nick Fuentes. They're all right now online. It's just crazy. They are all having this massive meltdown online about it, especially on X and on YouTube. And they're thinking this is going to cause a great rift in the Republican and conservative side. And I'll get to that in a minute. But, it is obvious to me that we can't trust much of what we hear, even coming from the government and the science and the people who claim they pretty much know everything. And, let's remember, I need to remind you of COVID. the Epstein files, global warming, 9/11. I mean, the just list goes on and on and on and on. And when I was doing the research for the second book in my trilogy, which is called it's let's see, I don't know, it's Ambro. The one that's called Ambro. It's been a while. Oh my goodness, my brain is just so dead right now. All right, but I did a lot of research in Mission Ambro, and I came across a lot of the government, CIA and FBI dealings, like Project Mockingbird and all this kind of stuff that I did a lot of research into, and it's in the book. And so we know the federal government and the agencies like CIA and FBI get into a lot of stuff they shouldn't have been into, black ops and all that kind of stuff. But we can hold the position that there are some things to worry about. There are some things that do not make sense in the narrative that we're hearing, that actually make very little sense, that doesn't seem to work. But we need to keep in mind it's an ongoing investigation. And what I have found that the federal narrative could be deliberately put out into the media in a way that is problematic. You know, one of the ways you can discover evidence is by planting propaganda in the media. So we know that's been used for at least back to the time of JFK. And so they are trying, I do believe that many people are very legitimate in our government. And here is where I disagree with Candace. Okay. So Candace sees the propaganda that's being put out, possible propaganda by the federal government, and she's doing her own investigation because it obviously doesn't make sense. And she believes that her investigation could possibly save the truth in this thing and bring out those who are going to actually be the bad guys in this. And I think you don't need to choose a side. Don't choose a side. There's no purpose in this point of choosing a side. Is it possible that the kid in jail is what is his name? Tyler Robinson or something like that. It's possible he's the assassin, and it's possible, I mean, being alone, or he could be part of a group. And neither one of those things is impossible, and neither one of those ideas should be mocked. And we just don't know at this point, and we should all take a breath and just, wait until we can find out. There's nothing wrong with discussing it. Nothing. Candace can discuss it, but let's just don't make enemies out of those that are either looking into it or those that would like to grieve without looking into it. Poor Erica Kirk and her family just need to turn off the TV and just focus on what they're doing. And I think that's what she said she was going to try to do. Now, but this is what I do find interesting. We need to quit mocking each other, because both sides are citing miracles and mocking the other side for their miracles. So the feds are telling us, I don't know if I should use the word feds. That doesn't sound like something my age would say. But the government is telling us that the round, and I think it was a doctor or whatever, said that the round that hit Charlie miraculously didn't have an exit wound and was stopped by his backbone or something like that. And that's a miracle. That was one of the first things they said. Oh, it's a miracle that nobody behind him was hit by that very supposedly impressive round, very powerful round. And miraculously, because Charlie ate his spinach, um, was able to stop the round with his body. Now that is a miracle, but they're claiming it, that they're actually claiming that that's true. And then we've got Candace, who is saying that in a dream that Charlie came to her and convinced her that he's been betrayed. So we've got miracles on both sides so we can't really throw too many darts at the opposite side about that and laugh too hard. And the truth is, if we step back and we put on our conspiratorial hats, we can go into deep conspiracy mode and state that both sides are being fed without their knowledge information by the deep state in order to break up the conservatives, and neither side is aware of it. So it could all be just propaganda being fed to Candace to keep her going, and then being fed to the populace through those that are against her, just to keep things stirred up. I think that is what the devil does, whether people mean to do it or not, but we know that that's what the devil does. He's the father of lies. He was a murderer from the beginning, is what we're told. He's the one that causes chaos, and we simply cannot know, nor will we probably ever know what happened. If Candace is right, how are we to know that? How will we ever know? Now, I want to ask Candace this. I don't think she'll ever see this, but if somebody can get a hold of her, ask her, if there is a multinational group that is involved in this, do you think they're going to ever come out and admit it? Do you think that this is something that you can ever really break? Break the news. Breaking news: Candace is right. Now the multinational group come out and admit they killed Charlie. See, that's just never going to happen, and that's what she would like to uncover. But it's never going to happen. I mean, you know what? God can always have miracles, and if Candace is wanting God to have that kind of miracle for her, I hope He does. I hope that's true. But here is something I would like to add to the discussion, because I'm hearing some people, actually a lot of people, say we shouldn't talk about this. It's going to rip apart the Republican Party, and that we're going to lose everything that President Trump has worked for. And if that is true, then we have the most superficial Republicans and conservatives that ever were. This cannot possibly split the conservatives who have spent their entire life and their money and their energy defending the unborn. Do you think something that Candace says? Do you think something that Tucker Carlson says, or Nick Fuentes, or Trump, President Trump, is going to get them to turn and say, oh, well, this is worth giving up my pro-life stance. Oh, this is worth, man, I wish we could continue this thing against the immigration, but because of Charlie, his SS